Welcome back to Flight Sim with Rude Man, and we're in Yakima, Washington, and I'm looking at a TBM 930. Now, if you've been watching any of my USA tour, there's been several times I've seen on the map airplanes called TBM 900 or TBM 930, and I didn't know which airplane it was. So I went through the catalog of planes that are available to you, and I found the TBM 930, and this is the one that I was curious about what kind of plane it was. Well, as it turns out, it's a turboprop, and I've been meaning to fly a turboprop, and I haven't yet. So I thought I would take a look at this one because it's about the same size of all the other planes that I've been flying on this trip. So that's what I'm going to do today, and see if maybe I want to add it to our tour as one of the planes that we're going to fly. So let's take a look. I don't know a lot about turboprops, but we're going to look into it. So first of all, let's just look at the plane itself. I'm going to kind of go through the gambit of push buttons that I put on my Stream Deck. So the first one is the pilot one, which is where we're sitting, the pilot seat. There's the main GPS. There's the nav. We're going to turn them on in a minute. I'm just going to give you a quick look at the dash. There's the autopilot things. Above, we're looking at some instruments up, or some buttons and switches up here that will start your plane. That's the center console. This is going to be your information monitors. There's the throttle. Throttle is interesting. It's kind of like a car. If you notice, you can take it up and then over in here and down and up again. So you're idle there. You've got a high idle and a low idle. It's kind of weird. Here's your fuel down here. You have 2 tanks, but you can set them to be automatic, which is, in my opinion, handy. There's the co-pilot seat, and there's a couple of things I don't know. There's a USB power supply here. Crew music source. I don't know if any of this. I don't think any of this stuff works, but there are some things that do, like you know, that emergency ram air. What is this? So there's some things here that I don't know what they are, and I don't know if they're functional. It does look like you can push the button, but I don't know what it does or if it does anything at all. Here's your electronic fuses and things like that. Your bus 1, bus 2, all that kind of stuff. We do have a back door that opens up and lets the passengers in. There's 2 seats here behind the pilot and co-pilot, and 2 seats here. So it's not terribly large. You can take 4 people, 5 if you don't have a co-pilot. You can take 4 people, and these doors are operable, so they will open. I don't think I can. Well, let me try. Click that button there and pull that up. Okay, it does open. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And then there's also, the pilot has a door too that does open. So, and a little step for the pilot to get out. I don't know what the co-pilot does. I think he's stuck over there. Co-pilot either has to climb over the pilot or go out the back. I don't think there's room to go out the back though. Anyway, so on the outside, with the doors open, there's a little cargo hatch that opens up in the front here, so you can store some stuff. I don't know how much, because there's got to be an engine in there somewhere too. So anyway, kind of interesting. All right, let's get this thing started. I'm going to take a very short trip. Like I said, I'm in Yakima, Washington. I'm going to fly to the Tri-Cities just to see if this is something I even want to fly. So let's go back inside and let's close this up, if I can figure out how to do that. think it's kind of funny that the opening the pilot door also opens up the cargo space automatically. It's kind of weird. So anyway, let's see. Let's look at the back door and see if I can figure out how to get it closed. There's a button here, but it doesn't seem to do anything. Let's press to close, it says, but it doesn't seem to do anything. Now I've forgotten what I hit to bring it back in. Was it the steps? Or was it the handle? Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so it was the handle. All right, let's go back to the pilot seat. Oh, I do have a left view out the pilot's window and a right view out the co-pilot's window. So we do have a view out. I could have put views in the back too, but I didn't. The windows are pretty small. So, all right, first of all, let's go in here. We're going to make sure I've got fuel. It's probably enough for the trip, but I'm going to throw a little bit more in. Like that. Now, let's see if I can get this thing started. It's a little more complicated than some of the littler planes that I've been flying. So, first of all, let's go to the above. And, well, no, wait a minute. We got to go down and make sure there's fuel, don't we? So, let's see here. Pull to close. Okay, we got left and right. I'm going to leave it on the left one, I guess. I guess I could go to the right. Let's go to the right one, right tank. But then if you go up above, you'll notice that there's a switch up here that lets you set it to automatically go between the two, so you don't have to worry about flipping the switch. So first of all, we've got the power here. Let's pull this bar up, and we're going to put our ground power unit on and turn the generator to standby or to main. That should be giving us some power. Let's take a look. All right, things are coming on. So that gave us some power. So let's go back above here, and let's get ready. I'm gonna go ahead and turn some lights on. We'll turn the taxi light on and turn beacons on and stuff, because I'm going to be starting the engine. There's the panel brightness right there. We can turn cabin lights on if we want. Main standby generator reset. Those are just reset buttons for the starter. Let's see. We need to turn the ignition on, which it looks like it already is. Auxiliary fuel. Let's turn that on. We need to turn this AP on, or we won't be able to use the autopilot. So we'll turn that on. And then we've got oxygen up here. Now there's a little controversy on this, because when I watched videos on how to start this thing, one guy says you don't turn this on till you're 10,000 feet in the air. And another guy said, wait a minute, I've got the flight manual for this plane. The flight manual says to turn it on the ground. So there's a little controversy. So I'm going with the guy that's got the flight manual on the plane. And there you go. So then let's go back down here. Let's see if I can remember what I was doing. The ice system, we're not going to worry about that right now. We need to set this bleed to auto. And then let's turn this on while we're here, because we need to be watching this engine stuff down here. Auxiliary boost pump is on. All right, so let's go back up top and let's see if we can kick this thing off. Okay, and it automatically kicked back down. I'm going to turn these things off. Okay, so now let's go down to the throttle and make sure we've got it in idle. See what it did? It just popped over. And I don't know how to get it back. There should be a way of putting it back over, but it doesn't. So I don't know what that's about. All right, now I was flying that jet. If you remember, I was flying that jet, and that jet had these things in it, these monitors, this PDF and MFD, which has all the controls, all the goodies, all the bells and whistles and all that kind of stuff on. So let's put this one on MFD. Now, if you notice that the GPSs have split screens, you can change those. As a matter of fact, you can add them to this one over here. So this, whatever this is right here, this traffic map, you can put over here. Now, I don't know why you'd want to, because it's right there. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I want it on there at all. But I'm going to leave it for now because I don't know anything about this plane. I'm just learning. So we'll leave it for now. All right, so while we're up here, though, let's come down to this and do a quick little flight plan. We're going to add the origin because we're in Yakima, so we're going to add that in here. And so it's K. Let's see, what was Yakima? KYKM. So KYKM. Yakima Air Terminal. We're going to enter that as our origin, and then we're going to add our destination as was it Richland? I think it was Richland. So that's KRLD, I believe. Richland, Washington, and we'll enter that. Okay, and that's all we're going to do. I'm going to say done. We're just going to do a direct flight, basically, and call it good. Okay, now, before we decide to take off, let's come up here and reset our barometer, which didn't change, so it must be perfectly good. And let's see, we're still in winter. I might get up to some cold weather. So what do we got over here? The door? The door? Did I not lock the door? I didn't. Glad I looked at that. And what about the front pilot's door? Did I not lock it either? Okay, I didn't. That was dangerous. All right, we got cab lights here. I can turn those on, I guess. No particular reason why not. We got air conditioning up here. Your de-icing stuff is here. There's your landing gear, your pressurization. We got hot airflow. I don't know if we have to do anything with any of those. Stall, no heat. Okay, so there's a stall heat. Okay, where would that be? Oh, we do need to put this up. I can't remember what it did, but it did say to put that up. At the same time, it told us to put this up. And then let's do that. And the stall heat is there. Auxiliary boost pump is on. Okay, so I don't think we need that now that we've started the thing. I probably should have turned that off already. So we can turn that. Let's turn it. I don't know. Should I turn it to auto? What if I turn it to auto? What's that going to do for me? Auto select. Park brake. Auto sell. Inert SEP is on. Inert SEP. That's that right there. Okay, that's fine. We'll live with that. All right, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that to see if that's something that you leave on or not. Let's turn our fuel to auto, so I don't have to worry about switching those. We got internal lights that we can turn on. I think we did already, though, didn't we? Or not? I think I did. Okay. Strobe lights are on. I think we're ready. About as ready as I'm going to get. So we do need to set our altitude, though. So I'm going to set it for 6,000. That's my go-to in places where I want to tour. So we'll do that. Let's turn the flight directors on. And again, as usual, I'll turn everything else on once I'm in the air. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to try to turn where I don't run into this guy. Wilkinson Ranch. So my old stomping grounds, this is where I grew up in the Yakima Valley. I don't miss it. What's that old saying? You could never go home. And what that means is that after you grow up and move away from home, things change. And when you go home, you're going to think that things were like they were when you were a kid, and they're never going to be. And that's what the saying's all about. You can never go home because things are not going to be. I mean, even where I'm living right now, there's a house that we've been here for 30 some years, and there's a house close by that I can see from my studio window right here. That's actually, the house is gone, and there was a little old lady that used to babysit kids, and she babysat our kids for a while, and had a great big old house. You know, it was been there forever. And about a year or so ago, they moved her out. She got well, I'm not entirely sure what happened to her. I think the kids moved her out. It was too big a house for just her, and they didn't want it. And the property is valuable, but the house was kind of old and run down. So they donated the ability to the local volunteer fire department to burn it down for practice. So the fire department came with all their equipment one night. I've got videos of it and pictures of it, and they burn it down to the ground, and then they just hired some bulldozers to come and clean it up. So right now it's an empty lot. In any property, the land is generally where the value is. If you have improvements, and that's what they call building a house or buildings on a farm or whatever, those are improvements to the property. But it's the land that has the value. Now, that's not to say that if your house burned down, you're not out a lot of money. I hope you have good insurance if that happens. That's not to say that, but in true actuality, it's the land that has the value. You know that old saying, buy up all the land you can get because they're not making anymore. So I'm trying to remember if I've flown a turboprop before, and I don't recall if I have. They are different, and I need to learn a little bit more about them. They're definitely faster. This thing will fly at upwards at 250, 260 miles per hour, nautical miles an hour. We'll take a look at that when we get in and up in the air. I didn't notice which way the wind was blowing. I'm not too concerned because I don't have real weather on, because I wanted to, it's just a test flight. I didn't want to test flight in real weather, especially, you know, well, we're in Yakima. Yakima doesn't have the weather I've got where we're at. We've had rain, and I'm not talking sprinkles. I'm talking rain. And when it rains on the coast, it rains. And we've had rain for over 3 weeks in a row now, every day. And we've got rain for the, well, for the known future. You know, we've got rain. Generally, you can get a forecast upwards of 7 days in advance. And whether it's all that accurate or not is debatable. But for the next 7 days, I check it. I check every day just to make sure. And for the next 7 days, it's rain. Let me put flaps down here or up. I'm going to go in and look at that because I'm not quite sure how this plane handles the flaps. I do have a button on my console for flaps, but it doesn't always work for some reason. Oh, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at the tail wing. I thought those were the flaps. All right, let's see if we can get this thing up in the air. I'm going to put the brake in. We're going to go on the inside. What do we got flashing here? The park brake. Well, I couldn't have done that if the park brake was on. Oh, I'm on the runway and it's telling me the parking brake is on, flashing. Okay, I gotcha. Let's turn that on. Okay, yeah, of course I know the parking brake is on. Let's see, we're in idle. It looks like the flaps are... The flaps are set for takeoff. It looks like there's two. There's up, takeoff, and landing. So you can't get any more simple than that, I guess. And then here's your landing gear control over here. Park brake is on. Hot airflow. What the hell? Sweet. All right, let's get out of here. Let me pop this up so I can see where I'm heading. We're going to take the parking brake off. We're going to give it some fuel for takeoff. Now I can tell you right now that the turboprop engine sounds a whole hell of a lot different between what I'm used to and a jet. It doesn't sound like a jet, and it doesn't sound like a regular propeller plane. All right, so we should be able to take off here. We've got positive climb. All right, I'm going to go ahead and kick on the autopilot and navigate. We're going to put the gear up, flaps up, and then let's make it climb. Oh my God, look at this thing go. Jeez, that's fast. This thing is going to be fast. We're already 180 miles per hour. And this is the Yakima Valley. If you're interested, I did a trip into the Yakima Valley. It was the opposite of the trip we're taking today. I started in the Tri-Cities and I flew through the valley and explained where things were when I was a kid. If you're interested in that, there's a video on my YouTube page all about that. I do have a warning flying, and I don't know what it is. The ITT. What is ITT? All right, let me bring the throttle. Oh, here it is. Let's bring the throttle down a little bit and see if we can. There we go. Oh, we were running a little hot there. I see it now. ITT. I'm kicking back the throttle a little bit. I'm in no hurry. All right, we're up at 47,000 feet already. There's Buena. Most people say Buena. It's Buena. 5,300 feet. You're going to see a lot of farmland. That's all that's here is farmland. All is one of those words like never. And all, the word all, well, unless you're from Arkansas and you're talking about that petroleum product in your engine, not that all. But all, like all of this, is like the word never. And where you should never say never because it's an absolute. All is an absolute. So when I say it's all farmland, is it really? And no, it's not. And it's like me saying, well, I never lie. Never? You never lie? Well, okay, I've told a lie or two, but it was only to keep, not hurt somebody's feelings or something like that. Okay. Anyway. Did I put the flaps up? I did. Okay. All right. I think everything's pretty copacetic. I think we're doing as well as can be expected since I don't know anything about this plane. It's a turboprop. I don't know anything about it. So I think one of the things that you might want to do is to keep a close eye on these gauges right here. And there's the cabin pressure, oxygen levels. I didn't check. I didn't check to see what the ability of this plane is for altitude and speed. But as you see, if we're looking at here, we're at 222 miles an hour now. Yeah, I can't talk. Anyway, I think things are looking good. I want to check something out here, and that would be inside. I want to see what our views are like. That's nice. I like that. Okay, that's a good view. And that's another good view. I know that the view from the pilot seat is kind of like all instruments. There's not a whole lot of window here, or even here for that matter. We can sit up in our chair and do a little bit more, but not really. You can see a little bit, but it is kind of cramped in this cockpit. That's a pretty big, what do they call that? Blind spot? That's a pretty good sized blind spot. So fortunate we do have we do have this, where you've got a lot of side view, at least. But that's a small thing. Most of the time when I'm flying, I'm touring. And when I'm touring, I'm out here. When I'm just flying by myself, I'm generally on the inside, but I keep hitting the wrong button there. Yeah, generally when I'm flying by myself, I'm in here looking things over and keeping an eye on everything. I've actually been meaning to turn the co-pilot off. I don't really need a co-pilot. I don't use her or him, as the case may be. But yeah, the turboprops the sound is different. I'm trying to get used to it. I know that in some of the smaller planes, the engines have a lot more throaty sound. There's a plane up above. But I'm guessing that this plane can get some height to it. Now I see a plane right there, but what's that dot thing out there? Is that a UFO? Just kidding. So far, I like the plane. I really do. It's sleek. It's fast. I kind of enjoy a plane that doesn't have the landing gear permanently out. Although I'll have to remember to put it down. There's Sunnyside. Yeah, I don't know. The sound of the engine, I don't know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like a buzzsaw or something. Something tearing through paper or wood. When it's just basically it's tearing through air. I'll get used to it. It's not a game killer. The sound is not. It's a good sound. I'm just not used to that particular sound in an engine. I'll get used to it. As well as the view from the pilot's seat. I'll get used to it, too. I don't know what that is we're looking at. There's one right there. Is it just dirt on the windshield? Oh, that could be. It's a dirty windshield. I hope it's not a cracked windshield. But, yeah, I'll get used to this. It is pretty small cockpit, isn't it? It's a sleek plane. It's supposed to be that way, I guess. Oh, what's this stuff hanging out? McWhorter Ranch. I used to know the McWhorters. Who knows who lives there now? Things change when you get away from, again, talking about that. You can never go home. You go home back to a farm or a ranch that you were used to when you were young, only to find out that the old man died and the kids didn't want to work that hard, so they sold the property and moved to the city to live high off the hog. And some corporation bought the farm up, and there's no people that live there. They're just farming the land or something. Pretty sad, in my opinion. Pretty sad. So here's what I'm thinking about doing. I decided to take a look at this plane and have you take a flight with me. And then I'm thinking that the next leg of my USA tour will be in this plane, and we'll fly it a couple of times and see. And there's a reason why I'm kind of excited about that. If we take a look at the screen here, you'll see we're at 220. We're green upwards beyond 250. How fast will this thing go? I'm just curious. Now I don't have it pegged out. It's not pegged out by any means. I cut it down because I didn't like that red warning. And I need to find out what the intercept is, because when I watched the video, they just said that has to be on. But why? They didn't say. So I don't know why that has to be on. Know what I mean? And why does the pressurization have to take a dump? And it must be in good shape because it's a normal dump. I mean, you know, I can live with 220 miles an hour, so I don't really have to kick it up anymore. But what's interesting is that what I'm excited about is on my world tour, my USA tour, point A to point B takes a while. It takes me a couple hours just to go 250 miles. With a plane like this, oh my God, we're here already. With a plane like this, I'll be able to cut those times down a little bit. All right, I'm going to cut the autopilot. And we're going to come in here. Because I think that's my airport. And yeah. All right. Man, I got here fast. All right, we're going to do a loop-de-loo here. And bring this thing down. And get the speed down. Man, I didn't realize I was here this fast. I'm used to driving this. Flying it is a lot faster. Wouldn't it be though? All right, let's bring this thing around. Okay, don't go too low. I'm dropping pretty fast. Okay. Where's my airport? No, seriously, where's the airport? I lost the airport. Uh-oh. I lost the airport. No. Where is it? Well, let me just get back here. See if I can find my way back. Man, how far did I get away? I didn't realize I got that far away. Did I get turned around? I think I got turned around. Oh, I got turned around. This thing turns fast. I think I'm heading back the way I came. Oh well, we're just flying. I just wanted to see if I could fly it. It seems to fly good. Let me flip around. I was heading for the river, the Columbia. All right, so there we go. There's the city. There's West Virginia. I did get turned around completely. Weird. All right, so I should have an airport. There it is. There it is, over there. Let's drop the landing gear. Landing gear is down. Let's put the flap down for landing. Whoa, that's your Rose the nose. Rose the nose. All right, I'm at 100 miles an hour. That's a little slow for the distance I'm away. I would think. But again, I'm not used to a turboprop. I know it's going to be faster than a regular propeller plane, so I might have to be careful. It seems to handle good. Now you got to remember, I'm not in real weather, so I don't have turbulence to deal with. There's no clouds, there's no rain, there's no snow. It damn well better be easier than, flying with real weather. And I need to remember that a turboprop, that means I can reverse the prop for speed when you're on the ground. I can hit reverse engines to help slow the thing down without using the brakes. And to do that, I have a special control set up. So when I get on the ground, I have to take the throttle down, hit a button, and then kick the throttle back up again to reverse the prop. I shouldn't have to do that because I'm not coming in that hot or anything. Well, it landed good. So far I haven't had to hit the brakes. I'm gonna, but I didn't have to. Alright, let's pull off the runway and head over yonder. Oh shoot, that wasn't a road. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Alright, I don't think I have to go all the way in. I'm just gonna stop it right here because it's just a test flight, right? Put our brake on. It's giving me a warning because the brake is on. Come on. Well, here we are. That was fun. I liked it. It flies really nice. I can't wait to do a longer trip with it. So anyway, that's the TBM930. There's a lot more to it than what I've done, but we'll get into that when I learn how to fly the thing. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.